Dear students, today we will talk about sonnet. Sonnet is a poem of 14 lines. It is generally written in iambic pentameter and it is linked by an intricate rhyme scheme. There are two major types of the sonnet: Italian or Petrarchan sonnet and English or Shakespearean sonnet. The Italian sonnet is also called Petrarchan sonnet. Petrarchan sonnet is named after the 14th century Italian poet Petrarch. The Italian or Petrarchan sonnet falls into two main parts: an octave and sestet. The octave is followed by sestet. The octave consists of 8 lines and the sestet part consists of 6 lines. The rhyme scheme of octave is ABBA, ABBA, whereas the rhyme scheme of sestet is CDE, CDE, or some variant such as CDC, CDC, etc. So, this sonnet has a rhyme scheme. This sonnet has a fixed rhyme scheme for octave, and sometimes there are some variants of the rhyme scheme of the sestet. Petrarch's sonnet were first imitated in England, both in their stanza form and in their subject, by Sir Thomas Wyatt in the early 16th century. The subjects of the Petrarchan sonnets traditionally was the hopes and pains of an adoring male lover. The Petrarchan form was later used and for a variety of subjects by John Donne, John Milton, William Wordsworth, Christina Rossetti, D.G. Rossetti, and other sonnetiers, who sometimes made it technically easier in English by introducing a new pair of rhymes in the second 4 lines of the octave. Now, we come to the other sonnet form, which is known as English sonnet or the Shakespearean sonnet. This sonnet, which we call English sonnet, was first introduced by the Earl of Surrey and other English experimenters in the 16th century. They developed a different stanza form for the Italian sonnet, and Earl of Surrey divided the sonnet into 3 quatrains and a couplet, and the rhyme scheme of this sonnet, sonnet, which is known as English sonnet, is ABAB, CDCD, EFEF, GG. And this sonnet is also called as Shakespearean sonnet after because Shakespeare was its greatest practitioner. So after the name of Shakespeare, it is also called as Shakespearean sonnet. There was one notable variant, the Spenserian sonnet, in which Spenser linked each quatrain to the next by a continuing rhyme, AB AB, BC BC, CD CD, EE. John Donne shifted from the standard subject of sonnet. The standard subject of the sonnet uh, was love, and John Donne shifted from this standard subject of love to a variety of religious themes in his holy sonnets, written in the early 17th century. And John Milton, in the later part of that century, expanded the range of the sonnet to other matters of serious concern. Except for a lapse in the English neoclassic period, the sonnet has remained a popular form to the present day and includes among its distinguished practitioners in the 19th century William Wordsworth, John Keats, Elizabeth Barrett Browning, Christina Rossetti, and D.G. Rossetti, and more recently uh, Robinson, Ernest St. Vincent Millay, W. B. Yeats, Robert Frost, W. H. Auden, and Dylan Thomas, etc. The stanza is just long enough to permit a fairly complex lyric development, yet so short and so exigent in its rhymes as to pose a standing challenge to the artistry of the poet. The rhyme pattern of the Petrarchan sonnet has, on the whole, favored a statement of problem, situation, or incident in the octave with a resolution in the sestet. The English form sometimes uses a similar division of material but often presents a repetition with variation of a statement in each of the three quatrains. In either case, the final couplet in the English sonnet usually imposes an epigrammatic turn at the end. Following Petrarch's early example, a number of Elizabethan authors arranged their poems into sonnet sequences or sonnet cycles, in which a series of sonnets are linked together by exploring the varied aspects of a relationship between lovers, or else by indicating a development in the relationship that constitutes a kind of implicit plot. Shakespeare ordered his sonnets in a sequence, as did Sidney in Astrophel and Stella 1580, and Spenser in Amoretti in 1595. Later examples of the sonnet sequence on various subjects are Wordsworth's The River Dudden, D.G. Rossetti's House of Life, Elizabeth Barrett Browning's Sonnets from the Portuguese, etc. Dylan Thomas' Alterwise by All Light in 1936 is a sequence of 10 sonnets which are meditations on the poet's own life. So, this was about sonnet. We have learnt that sonnet is a poem of 14 lines, and the lines are in iambic pentameter, and there are two major varieties of sonnet: Italian or Petrarchan sonnet and English or Shakespearean sonnet. Thanks for listening.